Hey everyone, and welcome to an Import Treasure special where I'm going to show you how to import Super Nintendo games. There's really three ways that you can go about this. You can either buy a Japanese Super Nintendo. Mine is a Model 2 Super Famicom that I got for about $20. eBay prices kind of range from what I've seen to $30 to some people are trying to sell this for $700, which is just ridiculous. But I mean, if you manage to find a cheap one, that's a nice and easy way to do it. If you don't want another system cluttering up your collection, I totally understand that. In that case, you can use a Game Genie. What I did with my Game Genie, because it actually has a region protection as well, is I actually took a hammer and a screwdriver, can't see it very well, and I got rid of the tabs blocking it. And you just put that in, and then you just put in your Super Nintendo game, it just reads just fine. Now there's a third way of doing this, and before I show you the third way of doing this, let me show you the differences between the games, other than the boxes. I actually really prefer the Japanese boxing because it looks like a VHS tape. And think about it, in the early 90s then, you could just set it with your VHSs. I thought it was very handy. But first, let's look at our American game. Which we have here, if I can get it out. Maybe I can't. There we go. Which we have here. It's our American cartridge. What you'll definitely want to notice is this right here. Then we have our Japanese cartridge. Once we grab the plastic casing. Here's our Japanese cartridge, which you'll notice doesn't have them. Also notice that there is a bit of a size difference. So this American cartridge will not fit in your Japanese Super Nintendo. So don't get a Japanese one thinking that it'll play American cartridges. It doesn't work. So when you put together the two together here, I mean, not only is there a bit of a size difference, but you've got the tabs here. And I mean, back then, people didn't really try to stop importing. There wasn't really a lot of internet, so no one could really just look up online and be like, how do you import a Super Nintendo game like we can now? So they didn't really do all the modding and all the bull crap that they do today that makes importing so freaking hard. So this brings us to our third option, which I only suggest doing if you're really careful and know what you're doing, is that in this American model, if you can see, this is going to be kind of hard to show here, we put these tabs in the system. And as you can see here with the American cartridge, because of those holes, it goes in just fine. Whereas we put in the Japanese cartridge, the tabs stop them. That is the only thing stopping you from playing a Japanese game. There's nothing different against anything else. It's just cheap little plastic tabs. So, if you don't want to use Game Genies, because, you know, it can look a tidbit ugly and be kind of hard to mess with, not the prettiest looking thing, you can take a hammer and a screwdriver and gently, or as gently as possible, chisel away the tabs. And I've done this to a Super Nintendo at my work and it worked just fine, but you never know, accidents could happen. It'd just be terrible if you end up somehow busting your Super Nintendo. So that's how you import, and you can choose whichever you like. I actually used the Game Genie until I stumbled upon this, which I found to be the easiest, but some people just don't want another system. They just don't want to mess with it. And Game Genies can be bought fairly cheap online. I mean, a couple bucks. So, I hope with these tips that you can start importing and play great import games. So, have fun.